Hello everyone. Hello, thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in wherever you are. This is Strategic Chats. This is my live Q&A session. So this session is completely driven by the questions that you choose to ask either about your business or indeed about mine as well. So thank you for tuning in and thank you for joining me. For those of you that do not know me, name is I am CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I'm a chartered accountant, certified Profit First professional, and financial strategist. So thank you for tuning in and joining me. This is your Strategic Chats. This is an open Q&A session where you can ask anything about your business or mine. Business related ideally is what we are going for today. So thank you for those of you that are hopping on. I can see we have a number of people hopping on across all our platforms that we are on. We are currently live today on TikTok, Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and of course, inside the Uncover Wealth community, my private Facebook group. So thank you wherever you are for joining me. I am very, very appreciative of you coming on. Connor, thank you for tuning in. Ciao, Paolo. Thank you for joining me today. So this session is completely driven by you and the questions that you want to ask around your business. So please do let me know any questions that you have about your business or indeed about mine. And I'm happy for those. I run an accounting firm called Annette & Co. I have been in business 11 years running that business, and I have a team that is located all over. So we have not had any issues come lockdown because we were already all working from home anyway. We use, of course, the wonders of technology that exists nowadays to do that. It's always been the way I set up the business as well. So that is kind of what we do. I work full time in the business, and that is our source of income for our family. So that is a little bit about me and what my business looks like. As I say, this session is all about you. Feel free to ask me any questions about your business that you would like to ask, and you want my opinion on, or indeed anything about mine as well, and I'm happy to answer. Thank you for the follows, Zoe. Thank you, Spicy, for the follow. I do appreciate it. I always, of course, appreciate all the love, the hearts, the likes, the shares, the follows, and all those incredible things that everyone does. I very, very much appreciate those. So thank you so much for that. Like I say, please do ask any questions that you might have. I am happy and would love to answer those. This session is driven by you and the questions that you ask. So I have no pre-prepared content for this session that happens Thursdays at 3 p.m. UK. Every Thursday we are live, of course, for Strategic Chats. Although I say that, I am actually having a week off next week, so I won't be around for Strategic Chats next week, but we'll be back to resume service as normal the following week. So please do take advantage of this opportunity. If there is something in your business that you've been mulling over, that you've not been sure about, that you're not quite sure about, and you want a second opinion, then please do ask. I would love to answer that as well. I think we might have a little bit of problems streaming out some of our platforms just now. It looks like we've got some buffering happening. So apologies if you are listening to me on some of my platforms and we have some buffering issues. I can see that we're fine on TikTok and Instagram, but the others, it looks like we might have some issues there. I also had issues this morning with that too, which was a bit painful. So my apologies if you are on those platforms and you are having issues, or if I'm coming in and out, or if the image is stalling. My apologies for that if you are there. So please do let me know your questions. As I said, this session is completely dictated by you. If there are no questions asked, then it's basically just going to be a session of me asking you to ask questions. That's all it's going to be. So this session is completely led by the questions that you ask. So please do feel free to do that. This is Strategic Chats, and this is the place where I answer any questions about either your business or my business. So I'm happy to answer those. But as I say, this session is led by you. I have nothing pre-prepared to deliver just now. So please do let me know if you want to have a chat about anything strategic in your business and want a second opinion, or you want to talk through something, or you want a view on something. Please do let me know. I would love to know. Hey, Lily, thank you for joining me and thank you for saying hello. I do appreciate it. So that is what this session is about. Of course, you may have a question about some of the announcements that the Chancellor made in the summer statement yesterday. If you are in the UK, you may have some questions on that. I know that many people are wondering why more was perhaps not done for certain areas of the economy. So we can certainly chat through that too. Elily's saying, so how do you get money from selling printers using an apprenticeship? Is that you taking on an apprentice or you being the apprentice? Lily, let me know on that one, which it is, whether it's you wanting to be an apprentice or whether it is you taking on apprentices. So let me know. Let me know. We'll answer that a bit more clearly for that. Galaticog is saying, I'm starting an obscene greetings card business. There's a few competitors. How do I stand out? I actually have a client that has a greetings card business, not obscene greeting cards, but has a greeting cards business nonetheless. And how she stands out is in a lot of ways by actually doing content marketing, doing a lot of content marketing to show off the designs that they have and those kinds of things. They also do a lot of and so you're doing TikToks and things about your designs is going to be a great way for you to stand out. You may also want to show people behind the scenes of how they're produced and those kinds of things if you're producing them on site. That would be very interesting for people. Also, if you've got designers that are designing them, showing the design process is going to be really interesting for people as well. So those kinds of things will help you stand out in that industry. Another thing they're doing is when they're looking at and that they're giving very different descriptions for every single card, which means that they have the stick factor on the website, so people want to see what all the descriptions are and things. So that's a good idea too, to increase the length of time that people are on your website and potentially get them to purchase more when they're there as well. So you're saying I'm canvassing on Facebook, but because some are quite obscene, not all the content is allowed. Yeah, I understand that you might need to block stuff out, and you might need to blur bits and things. That is going to be a challenge. Definitely with having more controversial images or wording and that kind of stuff. So you might have to, as I say, position things in a certain way or do things slightly differently so that bits are blocked out. Suggestions of things, but they're not explicit, so you might have to do that kind of thing to get through the fact that some people will be offended by some of the images potentially as well. The USP is because it's obscene and you're in a catch-22. That does, it does certainly make things harder from that side of things, but you can, as I say, maybe you can have some stuff where you have, like a pen over something, so it's not quite so funny or quite so offensive for people who are unable to, or you don't want to view that stuff, or so that it gets through. Kinds of things might be around it. There are many people who are selling things who are unable to explicitly show what they do, and it's about being a bit creative around the sides for that. Maybe you show part of a card and you're like, to see the rest, come over to our website. I don't know if that might look a bit dodgy and how that will be allowed, but you could try that kind of thing as well. So I hope that helps a little bit, but I realize it is difficult when you've got content that that means that you might be blocked in certain areas as well. Good. So let's see. Elily's saying, so I'm taking on different apprentices and want to know how to increase my pay for each printer. Lily, what is your business? What does your business do? By selling printers, mean like physical printers that you have in offices, or do you mean something else? Let me know what you're because you sell printers. Okay, great. So you sell printers and you're taking on apprentices to taking on different apprentices, and I wanted to know how to increase my pay for each printer. So Lily, are you basically asking how to basically increase your profit margin in the business? Is that where you're kind of going with that? So you're taking on apprentices to help and support you, but that is eating up your profit? Is that the question? Yes, exactly. Okay, good. So that comes down to pricing, and that comes down to making sure that when you're deciding the price and you're getting your pricing, you layer in the costs that you have associated with the selling of the printers. And one of those costs is going to be the time that your team spend in doing that. Other costs are going to be things like as well. If you're going to tax for corporate tax, you're going to have to make sure that you layer in an apportionment so that each printer you sell basically contributes to the fixed costs of the business. So it looks like you perhaps need to have a look at how to price, and it looks like that might need some delving into, because it sounds like you're eating up your margin. Because one of the things you need to factor in your pricing as well is your owner's pay. So the money that actually you take home as a business owner needs to be factored in when you're thinking about your pricing as well. So I think a pricing exercise might be useful for you, Elily. Actually, I'm speaking a lot this month about pricing. So my podcast has a lot of information on pricing this month, which is called Uncover Wealth Radio. So you can check out that if you want some help around pricing and some ways to think about pricing and how to start having a look at the pricing aspect there. I think that's probably going to be your first step in examining that, Elily. So what else? Hey, London CT, thank you for joining me. Thank you for saying hello. Let me see. I know we've got some other questions coming through here. And we've got quite a lot of questions today, which is lovely. Jamie is saying, I'm looking into accounting, going to drop out of sixth form and looking at apprenticeships. Do I have any recommended companies that do good apprenticeship opportunities in accounting and business? Depends what area of accounting you want to go to, because if you want to do professional accounting qualification, you shouldn't drop out of sixth form. You probably will need you'll need an A-level in maths potentially. So that might be an issue if you for some businesses. For others it won't be. But if you want to go into some of the big accounting firms, that's going to be a problem. You will need that higher level of qualification and potentially a degree in accounting as well at the same time. So you need to be careful of that and understand what the path is that you want to take if you're looking at that option and wanting to do any of the professional qualifications that exist. If you want to go through the apprenticeship scheme, then that would be my first port of call, is to go to the website and go through that and see who hires in those areas. James is saying, I've heard McDonald's do good business degrees. Yeah, I mean, they're not degrees in the traditional sense of university type degrees, but I believe they do have a business program. I don't know anything about it at all. I don't know anyone that's been through it. So I don't know the ins and outs of that and whether that's any good, James, unfortunately, on that side. Hey, Ron, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me. This is, for those of you that are joining me, this is my live Q&A session where I answer any questions that you may have about your business or mine. So thank you for joining me and thank you for tuning in. Let's see what else we've got. Great. What would be the cost of trademarking your company logo? So cost of trademarking is, I think it's about £200. You can do it yourself. You can just go to the website, the government website, just Google trademarking and then get the link that's the government website rather than any of the third-party services. I'm going to sneeze, I think. Oh, excuse me. And then you can do it yourself. You can register it yourself. I think it's a couple of £100 from memory, something in that region, for trademarking. Let's see. Crash Campbell is saying, do I have a degree? Yeah, absolutely. I do. I have a degree in accountancy and finance, and then I have a professional accounting qualification as well. I'm a chartered accountant, so I have a professional accounting qualification there. James is saying, James, yes, I spot you on the stream. Let me let you in to Zoom because you can come on and watch there, and you can also ask any questions live as well there. So let me let you in, and you can hop on there too. I'm just going to also just pin the video, and I'm going to mute your audio at the same time for now, and I will there we go, you've done it yourself. And then I will let you in as well if you want to ask a question. James, just let me know in the chat, and I will let you come on and answer that question as well. Hello, MDJ Photography. Thank you for joining me. No, my videos are not funny, and I certainly have not ever thought about doing stand-up comedy. That is for sure. Comedy is certainly not one of my strong points. Might be too late to ask a question. My question might sound a bit random, but what equipment do you use to stream videos, stream software platforms? I'd like to do something similar. Yes, so what I use to stream, I get asked this question all the time, so it is certainly not random in any way. I get asked this question very, very frequently. So what I use is a program called Restream. That is what I use to stream to multiple platforms. But on top of that, I also have 2 devices. So Restream I use for Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. And then for Instagram and TikTok, I actually have 2 separate devices. So I have my current phone and then my old phone as well. So that's how I multi-stream to the different platforms. And that is the software that I use. I have a Logitech webcam as well, because I think the quality is much better than the one that's embedded in my Mac. And I also use a Blue Yeti microphone. So that is that's basically the equipment I use. I sit near a window, so I have that light, and then on the other side of me I also have just an LED desk lamp, which is kind of pointed towards me. So that is what I use to stream. Not random at all. I get asked it a lot, so it's certainly not a random question. And Stacy has 2 questions. In the process of setting up a company, I think this is the best structure, with my dad for property renovations. He has taken money out of his pension, which has changed his tax code and was taxed heavily. The calculator we used online said he would get more money back. He got his letter and it's less than what we were expecting. How would we check if this one is correct? Any tips? The best way is to look at the legislation and calculate it yourself, or get an accountant to do it. That's going to be the best way to do that, to calculate that it's correct. But the best way is to go back to legislation, have a look and see what what he should have been taxed and work it out. And if it's incorrect, then you can speak to HMRC about it. And also, I want to be as tax efficient as possible, as he is taking money out. I want to be as tax efficient as possible, as he has taken this money out plus he is still working full-time. Any tips for tax efficiency, company over sole trader, taking his profit or rent money? I just don't want him to lose money since he's already lost a huge chunk of it. Okay, got you. So the question is, I think the question is, how can you be most tax efficient when you've got a property renovation company? So the way that you would do it typically is to have yourself and your dad as the directors and shareholders of the business, and then pay yourselves a small salary and the rest pay yourselves as dividend. However, you have mentioned that he still works full time, so he is going to already be taxed with his full-time salary, which means the most tax efficient way for him to get money out is going to be through a dividend. Now, remember, a dividend is an appropriation of profit, which means that the business has to be profitable in order to pay out a dividend. But that is going to be the most tax efficient way overall for him to get money out. How fact that he's actually already put money into the business. So he has put money into the business, and therefore he has given the business what is called a director's loan, which means that he can take that money back out of the business with no tax consequences at all. That would be a repayment of director's loan. So in his instance, when he has put money into the business to get money back out, he can do that as a director's loan, and he can also do it as a dividend. You're going to want to take some as a dividend because you'll be able to make use of his dividend allowance on the basis that he has no other shareholdings and dividends from that. And then also the vast majority the repayment of director's loan, because that is free of tax consequences. So I hope that makes sense, Stacey, to you. If you have any follow-up questions, please do let me know. How is the entrepreneurial spirit in Scotland these days? Great question, Ron. Of course, Scotland is still is just emerging from lockdown. We are later than England that in our stages. Therefore, we've only very recently had shops reopen. We've not had things like hairdressers reopen yet. So it's an interesting time at the moment for many businesses, of course, but some are still not able to open at this time with us. So that is, of course, creating a challenge. But of course, like any situation, some people are able to make a lot of it and able to benefit as well at the same time. We have a lot of, we're getting a lot of clients who are actually starting businesses at the moment, particularly, interestingly, Amazon FBA businesses seem to be very, very popular at this point in time. So, like everything, there's always high points as well, even though there is terrible situations for many businesses too. So that's the situation that we have just now. Let's see. Oh, I've managed to flick the camera around. There we go. So let's see what other questions or thoughts we have coming through. No, I don't think anyone does want to do that. Let's block that one. There we go. Holly's saying, do I have Netflix? Yeah, absolutely. We do have Netflix. We don't watch much much kind of standard TV. Everything we pretty much watch is on Netflix or Amazon. I'm self-employed already, but by running the card online business, do I have to declare tax? So you can run the online card business through your current self-employment and declare it in your personal tax return. You can do it that way, or you can set up a limited company. It's probably best to speak to your accountant about which is going to be the most efficient for you and what that's going to look like. But you also can still run it through your self-employment that you currently have in place and declare it through your personal tax return there. So you can do that. Oh, good. Stacey's saying, thank you, makes so much sense. Can we use you to do this for us? Yeah, absolutely. You picked a call. Okay, awesome. Yeah, we can have a chat about it, Stacey. Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah, let's speak on that call that you've booked. Thank you so much. Lovely. Gabriella, I'm going to say happy birthday, but in all honesty, you don't want me to sing to you. But I hope you have a wonderful birthday nonetheless. I'm sure there are many people who might be able to sing very beautifully to you. I'm probably not one of those people, but I hope you have a lovely day. James on Zoom, do let me know if you want to come on and ask any questions. Just pop in the chat if you want to unmute, or if you're happy watching and listening, then that's all good as well. But yes, if you want to, then do let me know in the chat. Galaticog, you are welcome. No problem at all. Greetings, Delon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for tuning in. This is Strategic Chats. This is my live Q&A session where I can answer anything about your business or indeed about my business. I'm happy to do that. This session is completely led by the questions that you ask. All is well, Dylan. Thank you for asking. All is very, very well with me. In need some air. Thank you for your compliment there. I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely, James. You can unmute. Why don't let's unmute you and bring you on so that you can also ask a question. Let me turn up the volume there, and let's unmute you, and you can come on. No problem at all. Hey, James, how are you?
Yeah, I'm all right. So I'm just I'm 18. I was one of the second year A-level students in England who hasn't been doing their exams and stuff because that's going on. And when I'm going to university, I want to sort of make some money somehow out of the skills that I've accumulated, basically. So I did maths, further maths, computer science, and German, and I was thinking, currently I'm helping an influencer on TikTok start up their brand, and I'm making a website for them and stuff while they sort out how to make merch to sell, obviously for profit. And I was thinking, as they pay me a small fee at the moment because they can't afford a lot because they're still trying to set up and sort of get a foothold in their business.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, as their brand progresses, I don't really want to be still being paid that low fee. And right now I've got a sort of word of mouth agreement that as profits increase or as the business becomes profitable, my sort of salary of such will increase.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any sort of way that I can guarantee that, or like as a sort of numeric value? Yeah.
Yeah, I would ask them for a contract that has that in writing, in all honesty.
Sorry, would that be a deed of partnership, or is that something else?
Not necessarily. No, it could just be a standard freelancer contract. Okay. Where you actually say, okay, this is what we're doing just now, and I would be tempted, if I were you, to have milestones in there. So once the business hits this level, this is the expectation of, this is what you'll pay me. Once it hits this level, this is what you'll pay me. So I would be tempted to do that. You may also want to think about some kind of commission on merch. If that's their big way of monetizing, you might want to actually say, well, okay, I'm happy to be on this level, but what I want 5% of merch sales or whatever that might be, as a way of structuring it potentially. So that obviously incentivizes you to promote the merch as well, at the same time. So the more you promote it, the more sales you get, the more you benefit from it too.
Okay, so so do you think I should, because I want him to be able to put a lot of money into advertising, and because I know how important that is, so your business doesn't just flop and you have no money left. Do you think I should set a profit value to when I start getting paid more, or?
Potentially. And also, sometimes for example, if you went out and hired Facebook ads manager, let's say,
Yeah.
they will often say to you, we've got this is our retainer, but you have to spend X minimum spend per month on your ads. Like that is the expectation.
Yeah.
So you could have that discussion with them as well to say, look, in order to achieve the results that you want to achieve, I believe that your ad spend needs to be here. And therefore that will mean this, and that will mean also I get paid, this other number.
I was thinking in terms of also me sort of making my own company out of helping people in this way. I know how to make websites and stuff, but I'm not quite sure what I'd say. Or do you think I should advertise a specific thing like the website part of it, or do you think I should advertise it as a sort of whole package?
What do you like doing? What's the bit that you enjoy and that lights you up?
I mean, I like making websites because it's got the coding aspect of it, but also the creative license. But I also like business, so I like being involved in the advertising, in the promotion, and all of that stuff. And I was wondering, in that way, do you think I should be more involved as a partner in the businesses that I get involved in, or?
It sounds like that's what you would most excite you.
Okay.
And usually what most excites you is the thing that you should look to do, because it will have much more longevity to it. So it sounds like the answer is yes, you should probably have that all together and what you can do is you can have different offerings. So you can say to people, yes, I can do your website, fine. But also, actually, if you want that to then reach more people and you want that to perform, then I've got this upsell that actually I do it all. And that would probably be a nice way to position it.
Okay, thanks for that. I think that's all I've really got to ask.
That's all right, James. It was really, really lovely to speak to you. Thank you for coming on and chatting. It's always nice when somebody decides to actually speak to me. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. And have a fab rest of your day.
You too.
Thanks, James. Lovely. So let me check to see if we've got, if we have any other questions coming through or what that looks like. Let's have a look and see. I don't think that we do. Thank you everyone who is, by the way, liking, sharing, hearting, all those wonderful things. I massively, massively appreciate it. So thank you for that too. Oh, Marty is also saying on Periscope, James may want to formalize working relationships to leverage a position in order to get other opportunities. Yeah, great tip there, Marty, as well for James. Thank you for that. That's a great tip there. So thank you for joining me for Strategic Chats. Strategic Chats happens on Thursdays at 3 p.m. on whichever platform you are watching on. Now, I will not be here though next Thursday. I am actually having a holiday, spending some time with my family next Thursday. So I won't be live next Thursday, but do mark it in your diaries for 2 weeks time because I will be here then. Galatiog says, you're better than Martin Lewis. I love listening to your so informative info. Thank you. I so much appreciate that. I massively, massively appreciate that. That is a big, big compliment to me. So thank you for that very, very much. Thank you everyone for tuning in. James is saying, can you ask one more thing about accounting? Yeah, you can, James. Of course you can. Let me bring you back through, and you can absolutely ask one more thing. No problem at all. Let me just pull you in again to do that. There we are.
Okay, sorry, I'm super forgetful. I go on all these tangents.
Okay. That's all right.
I was just thinking in terms of accounting, and I heard that I'm not sure if you have to be a limited company to gain from this, but I was thinking in terms of bookkeeping and saving on taxes while your business is not highly profitable. I was wondering because I have to pay Adobe subscriptions to use Photoshop and Dreamweaver and all these things to code and whatnot. I was thinking in terms of that, do I have to be set up as a sole trader or a limited company in terms of saving on that?
Yeah, you do. So what you need to do is you either need to be registered as a sole trader or a limited company. You can do either. And probably for you, I would imagine the most efficient is probably going to be a sole trader at the moment because you're a new business and you're starting up. So I would imagine that sole trader is probably going to be the most tax efficient for you. To register as a sole trader, you just have to fill in a form on HMRC's website. So there's a form that you can fill in to register as a sole trader, and that will basically start you into having to submit a yearly personal tax return to HMRC. So you'll have to submit and declare yearly your income, and then you'll deduct any business expenses that you have. So that will include your Adobe subscription, for example, and then any other costs that you do incur as a result of this business.
Okay, so does that the saving on tax come directly from HMRC and it's got nothing to do with the companies I'm actually buying from? Or
yes, that's correct. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have anything to do with the companies you're buying from. It comes when you submit your tax return.
okay,
So
thank
you
you.
basically offset the costs against the income that you receive through your personal tax return.
I've heard about this thing called when you're do you do bookkeeping sort of stuff as well? Or I'm not sure what accounting involves.
Yeah,
totally.
we do. Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do bookkeeping. So bookkeeping is basically the process of reconciling the income and expenditure in your business. So making sure that it is all kind of recorded correctly. That's basically what bookkeeping is. And yeah, we do that too for people.
Okay. I've heard of the single process or the double process or something like that, where
Oh yeah,
one of them you keep.
Single entry or double entry.
That's the one.
Yeah.
In terms of a subscription, where would that fit onto the double entry model?
Yeah, so double entry is what it's basically how accountants work. So double entry is definitely what you should do. If you're looking at any software that's only single entry, walk away, like step back, back
Okay.
up. Double entry is what you want to look at, and the double entry for purchasing a piece of software or something is that you would debit the expense in the profit and loss account, and the credit, the other side would be the bank. It would be the money coming out the bank.
Okay. So I just say that the money came out the bank for the subscription and the asset that I've gained is the software. Sorry, I think I cut out a second.
Oh yeah, that's all right. I think I've got you back. I think you're back with us,
Okay.
James. Does that make sense?
Okay, so is the subscription the asset then?
The subscription isn't an asset; it's actually an expense in the business. So an
Oh,
asset
okay.
is something that would have So an asset would be your computer, for example, would be an asset.
Okay then.
So typically we wouldn't have any assets. Typically you wouldn't get an asset under around about 100 to 150 pounds. Anything under that you would usually write off into the profit and loss account as an expense. And then any asset, if there's longevity to it, then you would potentially put the asset in the balance sheet. So that's how that works.
Okay, thank you once again. I think that's all.
That's all right, James. No problem at all. No problem at all. Let me check to see if we have any other questions coming through. Let's have a look. Hello, Finn. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Stacey. Thank you, Marty. Have a great week too. So thank you everyone who's tuning in. This is Strategic Chats. This is my Q&A session that I do Thursdays at 3 p.m. Like I said, I am not actually going to be doing it next week. I'm on holiday next week. So we've been 2 weeks time to use Chats as well. can ask any question about your business or about mine, and I would love to see you on there. Please do mark it in your diaries. I am going to be having strategic chats in 2 weeks wherever you are watching today, so you can come again and join me. If you want the opportunity to hop onto Zoom with me like James did, then you can head to annetteandco.co.uk/strategic chats, and you can register and get the Zoom link for that. In most of the platforms as well, the link to do that is in my bio. So you can, if you can see the resources link in my bio, that you can come on Zoom. James has done, and ask any question that you may have too. So if you want to do that in the future as well. Thank you so much, everyone who's saying have a good holiday. I very, very much appreciate it. So thank you for that. I am going to sign off now, but I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your week, a wonderful weekend when it arrives, and I will speak to you all really soon. Take care, everyone.